All right, here we're back with another lived experience podcast moment. Have you ever come to the conclusion and you decided that, look, I want to do something different? I need to do something different. I need to reinvent myself. I need to create something that's something I need to do different. Have you ever felt like that? Have you ever asked yourself that question? It's almost like you saying, okay, what's next? Okay, I did all of this, I did all of that, I did this, okay, what's next? Have you ever asked yourself that question? But if you've ever asked yourself that question, then I'm talking to you. I got something for you. Because a lot of times we ask the question, what's next? Right? What should I be doing now? And I want to give you 5 points to consider when you ask yourself, what's next? What should I be doing now? What connection should I have right now? I want to give you 5 points. Number one. Number one, let's go. Did you or have you did any self-reflection? Which chances are you have, because if you came to this question, and if you came to that question, then you did some kind of self-reflection. Something about you said that I need to grow or I need to do something else. Sometimes some people come to that question when they ask themselves, should I relocate? Right? And so the question becomes is that when you ask yourself that question, here's one of the questions that comes up, and here's what should come up. Right? In doing the reflections with myself, what do that look like for me? First of all, I have to ask myself, what are my values and what are my morals? What are some of the things I like and I dislike? What are some of the things I'm going to put up with and I'm not going to put up with? What are some of my challenges that I've been facing that's been holding me back? So number one, self-reflection. Have you did any self-reflection on yourself? And if you have, then that's one of the first things that you need to consider is I know me, I know where I'm at. I know what I need to do. Whether it's getting finances in order, getting myself emotional in order. Do I need a therapist? Do I need a counselor? Do I need a life coach? What is it that I need? When you do the self-reflection, the question becomes, have you identified with what is it that you need for you? And are you willing to go get the resources and connect with the resources so that you can be a better you? That's number one, self-reflection, right? Number two, what concerns you? What's important to you, right? What guides you? What leads you? What motivates you? What are the things that encourage you, right? What concerns do you have about your life at this point now? Are you getting older? Sometimes people make this decision as they're getting older. They realize, man, I'm getting too old. I need to really hurry up and do something. So sometimes the time be a factor. What is it about you? What's important to you? Right. That's number two. So number one, self-reflection. Number two, what concerns you? What concerns you about you moving forward and doing whatever it is that you need to do to move forward? If we're talking about you advancing. That's number two. Number three, are you getting away? Are you taking the time to get away and to spend time with yourself? Right? Are you cutting off certain people's, right, because you need to get away, or are you still trying to be part of the crowd when you realize that there's a push and there's a tug that you have for you to move forward and to do something different? Right? Are you declining invitations when you know you should be reading, studying, and doing some of the things you need to do to advance your personal growth? Or are you people pleasing? Are you going to the invitations right? Or are you turning down the invitation when you know? Now, I'm not talking about when you have to get out and fellowship and spend some time, because there is a moment where, and I'm going to talk about that later on. I think it may be number 4 or number 5. I'm going to talk about connections. But I want to ask you, are you agreeing to attend all of the invites when you know that you should be turning most of them down because it's not helping with your bottom line? Now, grant you, I do know that sometimes we need to go fellowship, or we need to go be social, or we need to, there's a time for that. But you know when you should be studying, doing a personal growth versus being out and hanging out and spending more money than you really have. We ain't gonna talk about that. All right. That's number 3. Are you getting away? Right. Are you getting away from all of the things that's distracting you from being the best you can be? Because sometimes, and some people are in place to distract us from doing what we need to do in order for us to grow and to be in the position to do what we want to do. Distractions. Are you being distracted? I don't know. You have to ask yourself that question. Is this a distraction for me? There's a difference between getting away and taking care of you versus isolating and pulling yourself away from people because you're isolated from them and you just don't want to be social. Right? All right, let's move. Number 4. Are you exploring your circle? The same people that invite you to come to different events and they want you to spend time, are you evaluating, exploring the circle that you are in? What type of engagement are you doing that's distracting you to be the best you can be? Sometimes if we're doing the self-reflection, we have to make sure that the circle of people that we in will be okay if I say I'm not going to be able to make this event. Right? And then are you exploring other circles? Because sometimes one of the challenges that we have as we begin to ask ourselves what's next is relationship building. Sometimes we're afraid to build new relationships, and so we're afraid to get into new circles. And the reason why we can be afraid to get in new circles is because I got to be the new kid on the block. I got to sit there like I don't know anything and be willing to listen and to be willing to receive something from someone else, as opposed to me being the one to have all of the answers. And so sometimes we don't want to build a new relationship. That can be hard for some people. But for some of us, that's the best advice we can receive right now, is to build a new circle, is to be involved in a different environment. Are you going to any community events to create a circle or to be involved in a circle of people that's doing what you're trying to do? People who have achieved what you're trying to achieve. Have you created a new circle? Or have you even thought about it? Or are you okay with being in the circle that you're in? Right? That become the questions. That's number 4. Exploring new circles. After you evaluated your current circle, then I want to challenge you to explore new circles. That's number 4. Number 5, and then I'm going to be done. And here it is. The reason why it's important to explore a new circle is because you are going to have to start building new connections. You are going to have to start knowing somebody new and somebody different. We are going to have to become vulnerable. And I know, being vulnerable can be risky because I don't want to tell you about me and then you use it against me or you judge me. That's why when I meet new people, I come out the gate and tell them about who I am. And this is how I am. You know why? Because I'm trying you. I'm trying to see, do you really want to be part of my circle now that you know me? If not, it's all good. It's all well. But we have to take the time out to connect with other people, and especially if they may have some information that we don't have and we don't know. You remember in the previous video I talked about asking for clarity? They may have some information that we don't have, but it's going to be beneficial to me. That's why it's important to consider building and making the investment and being part of a new circle. Build a new circle or surrounding yourself around new people definitely have to do something with trust. Will I be able to trust them? And will I be able to be a friend to them? Right? So it's not only that will they be able to friend me, but will I be able to be a friend and make the connection with them as well? Sometimes that's a challenge for some people. Right? Will I be able to meet my expectations of myself in a new relationship, in a new friendship, in a new circle? And last, remember this. Quality over quantity wins all the time. I would rather have a quality of small friends, greater quality of small friends, than to have a quantity of large friends and it's a mess. They messy. Quality before quantity is always important. We've been talking about making a decision to do something different. When you come to that conclusion, number one, what did I talk about? Self-reflection. Did you do the self-reflection? Right? Number two, I said, what concerns you about your life right now at this point? What concerns you? What are your morals, your values? What are the things that concerns you right now about your health, about your family, about your career? What concerns you? And then number three, I said you have to cut away at those things that distract you. People, places, things. What are those things that cause distraction for you in order for you to move forward and to advance? I talked about that. I talked about reducing the circle or the group that you're around in order for you to be successful. I talked about rejecting some of the invitations. That can very well be a distraction for you to continue to work on yourself. I also talked about in number 4, exploring a new circle, engaging in new activities, attending new workshops, attending community events just to be there and to be involved in doing something different. Sometimes it's okay to just be there and just show up. I don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything, but just being in a new environment. That's the goal. And then number 5, I talked about building connections. So when you come to the point where as though something got to change or something got to be different now, those are 5 points I want you to consider, right? Because if you came to that, chances are there's a kick inside of you that says, I can do something better. I'm ready to do something different. There's more to me than I believe or I see right now. You came to that, right? Why? Exactly. Because you know that I want to do something different. I want to do something better with my life. And I want to do something that's going to help someone else. Hey, this is Greg. Lived Experience Podcast. Thank you for joining. Talk to you soon.